It's 6 o'clock, so I'll call this meeting to order. This is the regular city council meeting for August 5th, 2019. Our first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, thank you all for coming on this beautiful night. The next thing I want to do is Lifesaver Awards, which is something I am always honored to do. So Joe Garcia and Nate Peters would come up. I'll just read a little bit from what Kevin had to say. The department has a policy of, in effect, of providing a life-saving award, which is awarded to any member of the department in appreciation for the prompt and unselfish act of rendering aid and assistance to another human being, resulting in a life being saved. This award is intended for all officers directly responsible for the saving of a human life. The officer need not be subject to great personal risk to receive the award. The award may also be earned where evidence indicates that actions of the officers significantly prolong human life to the extent of the individual that was released to the care of medical authorities, even though the victim may expire later. On June 13th, 2019, paramedic officer Joseph Garcia and police intern Nate Peters, also medic, responded to assist with a cardiac arrest at Cozy Bay Resort in Lake Edward Township. The patient was a 79-year-old man whose family began CPR. He was flown to St. Cloud, and family reports he is expected to fully recover. This is a very short statement, but this is a very, very important thing, and I have publicly and privately praised our police officers for the value that they provide to the city. It is absolutely one of the, probably the best police department and paramedic organizations in the state of Minnesota. We have received an award to such, and I am so honored to be standing up here and to give another one of these life-saving awards. And for Joe, it's, I don't know how many he's had. This is something that, even though it may seem like a little thing, but if you're on the receiving end of Joe's expertise and Nate's expertise, you will be very, very grateful. So, Joe, the Life-Saving Award, thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Nate, I'm not sure, is this your first?
Yes.
Well, congratulations. Thank you, and we hope to have many, many more. Well, I shouldn't say we hope to have. You get the idea.
We wish you.
It should be noted it's Nate's first with the Breezy Police Department, but he has a long and storied career with North Ambulance as a paramedic. And, I want to thank the city and the police department and the chief for just giving us the opportunity to work within the unique framework that we do here at Breezy Point with the police paramedic program. It's unlike you will find anywhere in the state. So and to allow Nate to lend his expertise and experience to the department is a fantastic resource to the city as well. So thank you.
And you know, North Memorial's here and as represented, and they're partners between the police force and North Memorial. We have we do have the best medical care in an emergency situation that you will find anywhere. Thank you, John.
Thank you
so much. And Chief, Kevin, did you want to introduce our?
Sure. Dan Zachary. You want to come up to the mic?
Yeah.
Dan Zachary is our newest police officer. He replaces Elisha Dwyer. Some of you may remember him. He was was our original medic.
Mhm.
2002 to 2007, when he chose to go up north for family reasons. And we were blessed for him to want to come back and rejoin us. So the transition has been very easy. So Dan is returning to us, and he's already been hired by North Ambulance again as a medic. And now he transitioned to, so we will now have 3 medics on staff available to respond to calls. And Michael Maroney, well, he's reading the name page.
Again, Dan.
Tom Lillehei.
Nice to meet you, Mary.
See you again.
And welcome back. You remember
Thank you.
me.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
So,
Well, thank you and welcome to the city. Our next item is the consent calendar. You have before you the council minutes from July 1st and the special session meeting on July 25th, as well as the approval of claims totaling $152,668.80, which is electronic checks 2357E through 2360E and 2368E. Paper checks 135308 through 135309 and 135313 through 135353 and 135356 and 135396. Anybody would like anything taken off the consent calendar and discussed separately? Michael?
No.
Gary?
No.
Rebecca?
No.
Gary?
No, sir.
Okay. All those in favor of the consent calendar as written, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The consent calendar is approved as written. Next item is the open forum. Anybody wishing to have any business or to speak to the city council may do so at this point. And I will open the forum. Just please come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and you can address the city council. Anybody for open forum? The open forum is closed. Mayor and city council reports. The first thing I'd like to recognize is we had a very long-term Breezy Point resident and by the name of Mike Landecker. We just had his funeral today. He died last week. He was the owner of Landecker and Associates, who was the city engineers for Breezy Point for a long time. Mike was a wonderful person, very, very well liked in the community, and he contributed tremendously to the city. He's going to be sadly missed. The next thing I'd like to mention is the disc golf tournament that happened on Saturday. It was the first time for a major event at our disc golf course up on Green Scene Drive. There was 71 players that participated, which was tremendous. They had very, very high praise for not only the design of the course, but for the condition of the course as well. And hats off to our Public Works to what a good job they did on that, because it was the fairways were neatly mown, and normally they traipse through either tall grass or they're on basically a pasture. And so they were really excited about playing this course. Many of them had played it multiple times. And they were, like I say, they're talking about coming back again next year, probably even more, larger group, because it was so well received. And that's pretty much all I have. Gary, I'll start with you, and I know you want to say a little bit about Mike.
I do. Yeah, just a few words. Well, I know you all knew Mike. Mike was an outstanding man and a real mentor to me. He was instrumental in building that cemetery out there, and now he's laid to rest there. And they said way back then, oh, well, we don't need a cemetery. Well, I have news for you. Of interest, we used to have here at Breezy Point a program that honored Citizens of the Year. Some of you, I'm sure, remember that. Some of you may not. But it was a wonderful program. It recognized people who achieve and work hard for this city, ask nothing in return other than just to do the work for the city. For some reason, that fell by the wayside, and the year was 2004. That's the year that Mike Landecker and Helen received the last award for this city, and I can remember them standing right over there and receiving that. I looked at the plaque today at the funeral, and it was 2004. I talked to Kathy Millard. She couldn't remember what happened back then, why it went by the wayside, and neither can I. But I'm going to make a motion tonight to renew that program in the coming year, and in memory and in honor of Mike Landecker. And I'll look for a second.
Well, this is not really the time for doing motions.
You want to do it later?
We can do it later.
Let's
as
do
far
it later
as
then.
Just having it as an input, and the administrator will follow up with it.
Very well.
Anything else, Gary?
Mm-mm.
Okay. One of the things is specifically for the Parks Department. We did get a really nice letter of feedback from the head of the disc golf, which will be forwarded on to you, giving many recommendations, several recommendations
Good.
for the expansion of the disc golf. And you can take that to the Park and Rec meeting this week.
I shall.
Rebecca?
I don't have any.
Okay. Gary?
No, the road committee should be meeting here shortly, and so next month's meeting, I should have a report.
Okay. Michael?
Pretty good, Adam.
Okay. That concludes the committee reports. Administrator and staff reports. We have the resolution for ordering the improvements and awarding of the contract for the road and sanitary sewer improvements to White Birch Drive, Papago Circle, Suffolk Circle, and Suffolk Drive in Resolution 19-16. The planning and zoning had, or not planning and zoning, but we reviewed, or we had the public hearing on this, and surprisingly on this, we had no negative comments. Well, I shouldn't say we had no negative comments, but we had nobody that really objected to this whole project, which was, for a project this size, which is pretty amazing. And so with the positive feedback that we've had on this project, I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 1916, moving forward with this project.
So move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Further discussion? Mike, I'll start with you.
No, it's a great project. We showed at the last public hearing that with the economies of scale, we were able to bring the price down to each individual landowner, so I think it's a wise time to do it.
Gary, anything?
None.
Rebecca?
No.
Agreed with Michael's
Okay.
statement. Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor of Resolution 1916, moving forward with the paving and sewer project, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The project is approved. Next order of business is the apartments and multifamily dwellings. Part of our feedback from the business community specifically had to do with the availability of rental units within the city of Breezy Point, because bottom line is we don't have any. And when we looked into that, the current ordinance only allowed apartments in the RC district, which basically is the resort commercial, and the R4 district, which is it's a very small district. In fact, while have that up here, the R4 district is, okay. Where am I?
Dark brown.
Yeah.
Darker golf course. Down, left, down, left.
Okay.
Or that color.
Yep. Yeah, here it is right here. This is basically the all the way down. Very good. The magic. And that's the only place, it's not developed right now. It's also owned by the resort, which basically really limits the area that we can build rental units in. And so by having those only areas available, it very limits the area that we can build rental units in. And since we have been discussing this, we have actually had inquiries on places to build rental units, and we have found that opening up the commercial zone will significantly increase the number of areas that we have for rental units. And we held a public hearing on this. Planning and Zoning has recommended that we include rental units in the commercial district, and they have forwarded that recommendation to the City Council. And we have the amendment to Ordinance 1902, which will add the under item 28 rental units, and we also update the chart to have rental units and apartments in the commercial district. So I will entertain a motion to approve the amendment to Ordinance 1902.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Harry, I'll start with you. Any
Nope.
comments on this?
Not a one. All for it.
Comments or questions? Rebecca. Ugh. I'm dry. Rebecca.
Just to comment that because it's a conditional use, any requests to build a rental unit would still have to go through planning and zoning for approval and then the city council after that, or just planning and zoning?
Just planning and zoning, that's correct.
Okay, and
Yep,
they could
that's
set conditions on
good. Absolutely,
Mhm.
yes.
size and everything
Yes,
else?
very good question.
Okay.
Yep.
Gary?
How do we monitor rental units as far as upkeep and representing the city in a manner
Now, to
that
make,
would be complimentary?
yeah, basically, as part of the conditional use, we would be putting in specific conditions as to what the unit would be looking like. That's things like that. As far as ongoing, that is up to the owner of the unit, and nuisance ordinances would apply. I mean, if it's getting really run down, we can force him to have it fixed up. But at least the people the developers that have provided initial inquiries, neither one of them would ever let their units get like that, because they're very reputable developers.
When you say we would place it in, how do you go about enforcing it if they don't do what they're supposed to do? I mean, you force them to sell the units, or
No, well,
somebody else to go in there? I'm just interested. And the reason I ask this is I've been hearing people have been talking about Brainerd's had some problems with slumlords and run down properties, and we certainly don't want that.
no, we don't. And again, it gets back to the conditions that we place on there, and then the enforcement of those conditions.
Okay.
So we have that hammer
Okay.
that we can utilize.
Okay.
Anything else?
No. that's
Mike?
it.
No, nothing.
Okay. All those in favor of revising ordinance 1902 to allow rental units in the commercial district, please say aye.
Aye.
The ordinance is amended. The next item is specifically to publish the summary of this ordinance change, and I'll entertain a motion to publish the summary.
So moved.
So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay,
Either one.
either one. This is required to make the ordinance change official, and we need at least 4/5 agreement. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the summary ordinance shall be published. Next item is budget request from outside agencies. We've had a request from both Initiative Foundation and Bladek to have us basically put into our budgets for 2020, 21, and 22, which is a little bit unusual for them to be asking for like a 3-year commitment on a budget increase. Patrick, do you want to fill us in a little bit on this one? I know we talked about it a little bit, but it's a little bit unusual.
The Bladek request, obviously, what they're shooting for is to have a 3-year goal so that they know what they can budget for. The amount, the unique amount of $2,700 is the minimum to get invited to a committee that they have of cities and other private parties that are, how do I say it, it helps shape, be involved in more what's going on in Bladek, not just here's your contribution of $2,000 or $2,700, but it gets us involved as a player at the table. I did share with the mayor the different amounts. Obviously, Brainerd and Baxter are far more. The county is substantial, but Pequot and Cross Lake both pay in excess of, I think, $6,500. But Bladek is involved as a member of their economic development authorities, and so they have a little bit different. And we are at a much smaller number of people at the current rate.
Yeah. So what makes this a little bit different is that we're basically committing to a budget, increasing budget amount for the next 3 years. And, I personally don't see any problem with this, but I'll open it up to discussion if you have any questions or comments. Gary, I'll start with you.
No, I don't have a problem with it, but I'm still looking for some results from.
Rebecca?
No, I don't have any issues with it at
Okay.
this time.
Gary?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. Michael?
I have no issues with it. You know, Bladek has been around for a long time, and again, while Breezy Point may not see direct results of it, we are getting the indirect results of it from surrounding communities. So it's something that I think is great for the community in whole for Crow Wing County. The same with Initiative Foundation. So.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion to essentially program the budget requests for the 2020, 21, and 22 fiscal years.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Gary?
None.
Rebecca?
No.
Gary?
None.
Michael? All those in favor of committing to the budget request, please say aye.
Aye.
Our next item is the Pelican Lake Conservation Club request to provide provide the sanitary sewer back on the city. If you remember a while back, they had some problems, and the immediate solution was for them to disconnect from the city sewer system, and then we would come up with some other alternative solution. And we have done some engineering studies on this, and we have come up with a solution, and the solution essentially is outlined in this letter from the PLCC to the city. And what it does is connects them via a force main to our #1 lift station. and therefore they will not be having the issue with the backfeeding like they had before. And there's various costs involved with that. And we also are committing at this time, Patrick, for the donation of the lots, or?
That hasn't been officially finalized yet, but
Okay.
I guess it was a point of discussion for this group, but it would be tentatively in agreement that you'll see next month.
Right.
The attorney and I are still playing phone tag.
Okay, so what are we asking for here?
We're just asking you to accept their letter and to direct staff to continue to move forward with the
Okay.
agreement.
Okay, so the issues that are outlined in the letter here, we would be, by resolution to accept this letter and the course of action outlined in this letter, and then we will have further discussion and things to consider in next month. So I'll accept a motion to accept the conditions of the letter, please.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
A second?
I'll second
There
it.
you go. Any questions, comments? Gary?
None.
Rebecca?
No.
Gary?
No.
Michael?
Just to confirm, this is a motion to basically just accept the letter,
Correct.
not the conditions, not what's stated out there.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. All those in favor of accepting the conditions of the letter, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Clarification, I just
Oh.
asked that we're not accepting the conditions, we're just accepting the letter.
Okay, my misspoke. Yes, we're just accepting the letter.
Okay,
Yes. Yes. There's still more discussion that will be happening on this.
perfect.
Okay. So the letter is accepted, and we'll be moving forward with staff and negotiations with PLCC. Okay. This completes the public portion of the city council meeting. We will, at this time, adjourn for about a 5-minute break, at which time we will reconvene in closed session for a city administrator performance review. So thank you for coming. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh,
Scott?
yep. One more announcement that I forgot to make was to announce that we have the Night to Unite tomorrow, which will be here in the city park, and totally forgot about that. So, yeah, it's 6:30 or 6?
6 to 8.
6 o'clock. Yes,
We have to be there by 5:30.
yes.